more viewing of orbs, and maybe just a little talk. And the creaking of my table. Now, I will be getting into a portion of these pictures of orbs where you see my friend I call Harry, who is, I believe, a light creature. When you look at these orbs and you see all the things that are in some of them, you can well imagine that there are little light beings. I know that sounds crazy, but truth is stranger than fiction, they say. And it seems to be, excuse me, evident from these pictures that maybe something lives within light. It's not within our understanding of our physical world, but we have so much yet to understand about this quantum world of light. And who knows what all we will have revealed to us about light in the years that are ahead of us. Things that would be hard to accept, but then that happens all the time when you think about the progress of science. Just even 100 years ago, when people were riding around in little buggies pulled by horses, you could tell them about a jet that would fly people in the air 600 miles an hour, and they would look at you like you were crazy. So, always keep an open mind, even if what someone says sounds a little weird. And if you're the one who sounds a little weird, don't let it bother you that people look at you like that you're too impossible to believe or you're eccentric or something. That just comes with the territory. You're an explorer, and you're going to get criticized. Although, I have to say, I haven't experienced a whole lot of it. Nothing personally. No one has personally said anything to me face to face. But then I haven't been exposed to very many people seeing this. Okay, there is Harry. See that little creature there? He drops down, and this one camera that I have, Harry shows up. But not in my new camera. And this right here, that's a little artifact of the camera. So, I'll stop the viewing. So is this little thing. And there's a few others that this camera only shows. And I have a feeling that they are something that's growing inside of the camera. Because I only had this one right here in the middle. This one always shows up in the same place, and then suddenly I had a few more. And they have a look about them that's similar to some of the things that are in the orbs themselves. So it's all very strange. I don't know what the answer is. But I do know the colors are just spectacular. There's so many little circles and color variations. You could make a very psychedelic looking wallpaper from some of these designs. And see, this little thing looks like a little fairy when you see it, when it's not just all blacked in. Most often it just shows up as a black spot. And this thing right down here, I don't know if you can see that. I'll show it to you in another one. There's a double jointed little thing that shows up in a lot of my pictures. And if it's debris, it's very strange debris. Now, I know there is such a thing as debris getting inside of a camera. I'm not unaware of that. And perhaps some of this is that, but what would you say about all the rest? What is it? It's definitely something. Oh, when I show you Harry again, I will show you a model I made of Harry. Wait till he shows up, though. I think I have several pictures of him on this one. There, right there, in that corner, that's the double-jointed little artifact. Now when Harry shows up again, I'm going to freeze frame. If he shows up again, I had several pictures of him. Look at this orb, how it just twists. They move in such strange and unusual ways and carry so many beautiful colors in them. And like I say, it's hard to believe that all this color exists right all around us. There's Harry. Okay, stop. Oh. Well, I stopped it on the wrong thing. But I'll show Harry again. He'll be in there. There he is. Okay. Here's something I made out of wire and beads. I can't exactly show it all in one showing with the way the camera's set up, but it's made out of wire and little beads to look similar to what Harry looks like. I am a very creative person. I like to play around with crafting things, and I kind of feel close to this little fella, like he were a living entity. Maybe he is. But again, this is my conjecture. Unlike some of the artifacts, like this one right here I'm pointing to, and this one, and that one, Harry doesn't always show up in the same place. Sometimes he doesn't show up at all with this camera. And sometimes I say, Harry, please show up. I want to know you're still there. And then he drops down, almost like he heard me. But sometimes I say, Harry, please show up, and he doesn't show up. So it's just a strange relationship there. Back with the video pictures. There's Harry again. You just never know where he will turn up. Strange, strange things. And so many circles. It's like the circles, sometimes when I see them, they open and close like a breathing tube or something. Sometimes a lot of darkness will come into the orb, but it seems to incorporate itself somehow with all the other colors. When I see this sort of thing with the naked eye, it's not orb-like. It's like a layout of a network of all of this colorful kind of thing that you see in some parts of these pictures. And their own levels. Like they could be horizontal or vertical, but then they could also be any other slant of plane. And there's so many. They're beautiful, and they surround us, and yet we never see them. Light is an amazing, amazing thing. It's what everything is. It's what we are. We certainly do need to learn more about it. I think that we work with light whether we know we're doing it or not. But if we could do it knowingly, then we could have better results in our lives. There are some people who see the aura of another person, and they say that the colors that are in the aura represent certain personality traits in the person. I'm not real familiar with all of that. And if this were anything like an aura, well, we got all the colors here. So I wouldn't know what to think about that. I had a friend one time who could see the aura. She wasn't especially a spiritual person or anything. She just had always been able to see the aura. But she could not see her own aura. She could see it in another. And she knew when someone was mad at her, they had a certain color around them when they were angry. And I asked her, I said, what color do you see around me? And she said, well, she just sees a lot of color. I said, okay. Look at the color of that one. Isn't that beautiful? Sometimes I just gaze at these colors and I get actually sleepy. I get so relaxed. I get sleepy-eyed from looking at them. And then I think, should I take another batch of pictures like this to see if there's anything new developing in them? It's almost like, well, I can't get enough of filming of orbs. But at some point, I'm going to have felt like I've gotten enough now. And I'm glad to send pictures to anyone who would like them sent to their email. I can send a few pictures. Certainly not 3,000 or more, but I can send you a few. I do think they would make good murals to put on a wall, some of them. Or fantastic splashes of color it would bring to your home. And the fact that it is a living entity. For light is living. I really should look into putting on a show of all this where I get an audience to see it all on a big screen. I think that it would go over well. But I am not much on organizing anything. Except that maybe I will venture out there and try to do that. I want to get more and more people interested in orbs. But it's not something that there's a whole lot of interest in because there's not even a lot of knowledge that this kind of orb exists. I mean, you see on YouTube many pictures of orbs that are caught in people's taking of pictures, and they're mostly white. But sometimes they have a little color to them or markings in them. And one person that likes to take pictures of orbs like that, I forget their name, but I sent her some of my pictures, and when she learned that I took the pictures deliberately, that it wasn't a random thing that the orb just showed up, then she seemed not to be interested in deliberately filming orbs. And I just don't get it. I think it's good to have a deliberate interaction with them, because that's like, okay, on my part, I will do what I can to be able to see you, instead of just hoping you'll pop in unexpectedly. I mean, those pictures that have that, they are special to the people who take them, and I understand why. But these are special to me. I get the other kind of orb as well. A lot of times when I take pictures at night, there's out in the outdoors, I will get orbs. And you always get orbs with digital cameras if you take pictures when there's moisture in the air, like there's a little mist or something like that. Because that water will catch the light of your flash and it will be an orb. That's what it will look like. Now, these pictures that I'm showing you here were taken without any flash. You don't want the extra light. As a matter of fact, when I take these pictures, they don't look as good as I make them look by taking them into a program where I lessen the light and increase the darkness. And doing that brings everything into focus. The colors become more vivid. The outline of the whole orb has a black background, so it stands out. Some of these color combinations, I've never seen colors combined in this way ever before. Colors you wouldn't think go together that well, but there they are. And the thing about these orbs is that they change so fast. I mean, if we're looking at chaos theory, that everything looks chaotic in the quantum world or whatever you're thinking of like that, well, it can be, but 1 second later be organized looking. what looks to us like chaos is not really chaos. It's just like an artist has a palette full of colors and he can grab any one he wants to create what he wants. But this artist does it so quickly. And it's amazing. To me, it's very amazing. Maybe it's because I think of it as my baby, in that I discovered this way of taking pictures. And I've never done anything of any great importance, mostly in my whole life, but this feels important. It feels like, to me, this ought to be something that we delve into and do some research about. But it may be that it's sort of impossible to do research because it's not going to be something that bends to our will. And so much of scientific research, they want to make the experiment repeatable. I don't know if that's even possible with this. Even to get the very same picture the second time would be very difficult to imagine doing. I have some older pictures of orbs that I need to dig up. They're in a little box called My Passport, but it shows the orbs. One orb would like twist in the middle, and it just looked like a plastic bag or something that you just took and you twisted in the middle. And lately I've not been taking any pictures that show that again. It's like, okay, when will I come across that particular twisting motion that those orbs did? I'm looking in my book in the background here to see if I can find one of those pictures. What did I do with all those pictures? That's one sort of a good example. Some of the pictures of orbs I have actually made hard copies of. I'm going to show you 3 or 4 of them. I'll put this on pause. Okay, here's one of them. Looks like an ice cream cone. It's really strange. Or you could say it looks like a microphone. Has all those little seed dots in it. See if I can get this up closer so you can see that. And then there's this. This is a lot of, what is that red showing? It's from my camera, I guess. Or maybe from this film behind me. Nope, it's from the camera. Okay, these show several orbs, and this was taken with my older camera that has the artifacts. And the strange thing about these orbs is that they all have these two little eyes, and they're always in the same spot on the orb. See, here's one that's folded, but you still see its two little eyes. Over here in the corner, there's one with two little eyes. So every orb gets two little eye spots put in it. And I'm just now noticing how close those are to each other. The orbs I'm looking at these days, the eyes are a little further apart. So they do change their looks. This was an unusual one. There's a glare that's showing up. I don't like that. Okay, let me show you this one other that I pulled out. A lot of twisting and turning in this picture. Okay. Turn the machine back on. Start it rolling. There's Harry again in that one that just went by. There's one with Harry and it stopped on that one. And there's a little double jointed thing. And Harry, when I see him, he's always got these other little things around him. And sometimes I see them before I see Harry, and I think, okay, he's going to appear because I'm in his territory. There's these little things that are usually around him. And the unusual thing about this is that these little things that are around Harry look real similar to the artifacts that are in my camera. Like this one right here, it seems to be that it has a little white outline around it, but then so do the circles within the picture that aren't part of the artifacts. They all have the little white circle around them. And that's just strange that the artifacts look like what are showing up in the orbs. And see here, right here where I'm pointing, are the two eyes of this one. And right here are two eyes. They always are located on the lower right-hand side, just off center. That's where they like to be. And that is strange, and I don't know the reason for it. Some more of Harry's friends that hang around him. And there's Harry again. And again. I have many pictures of him. Now see, this is one where he looks a little more like this thing I made of him. So often though, when I see him in the pictures, the color has obscured part of his body. I've never really seen it really detailed enough to see exactly its shape. And then of course it might morph. In this one, he sort of looks like he has a reverberation where like he's several times exposed, as some of the artifacts are. This right here that I'm circling, that's another artifact that I've just recently acquired. See some of the little bodies of things, they have little, looks like little pea pods with little peas in them. But see that right there, and with a white around it, that is not an artifact in the camera like this one that I'm pointing to is. But look at the similarity of them. It's really strange. And all the circles have a little white concentric bands around them of color of white. Lots of circles. This is the window that's always showing in the background when I take pictures at night. And it shows on my computer a little bit. I put a cover over it the other day to keep the light from showing so bad, because it does detract from the picture to have that window showing its light. I do get the most interesting pictures from this older camera that has the artifacts in it. It seems to reach into a different realm of the light than the other camera does. But the newest camera I have, I really love it. It's really taken some beautiful colored pictures. Okay, I'm going to see if I can zoom in on this one. Oops. Okay. Oh, that doesn't show it too well, but this is the little thing that looks to me like a fairy right there, that little dark spot. It shows up better in some of the other videos. I mean, some of the other pictures, rather. But it's always there in the same spot. I like that color combination. Sometimes I take pictures outdoors and then I don't get as much color because there's so much light all around from the sun. This is one that I took. It does have a little color over here though. And they're beautiful too to have the green things in the background. Now I'm going to zoom up on this one. This is the strangest little thing here. This thing right here. The double jointed little figure with the white around the edges of it. I've seen similar things inside of Orbs that my other camera takes pictures of. And it just seems to me that that is not some mechanism inside the camera or any debris. And see, it's so similar to the little circles that show up that have the rings around them. Sometimes when I'm taking a picture, the artifacts show up double exposed or triple exposed. But when I first started taking pictures with that camera, I only had this one right here I'm pointing to, this one. That's the only one I had. And then they grew in number. And sometimes I wonder when I take another picture, am I going to see still another one? take you to this one. That's the strange little one that looks, I think looks like a fairy. Right here it doesn't. It looks like a sand burr or something. But the colors are just so extraordinary in these. And always orbs have this telltale little lines around the edges of the orbs. Even when they make a ribbon, the ribbon has these little lines on the side. Put it back on pan and zoom. I'm getting at 35 minutes. I probably will have to end this soon because I'll run out of time on my little recorder here. Anyway, just wanted to show you a few more unusual pictures of orbs. And I will have to let you go now. This is the Dove Lady, over and out for now.